This episode of WisBusiness.com, the show, is brought to you by Grant Thornton, White Hirschbeck Dudek, Madison Gas and Electric, and the University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee.
Hi, I'm Molly Lahr of the Wisconsin Technology Council, standing in for Liz Schrum with WisBusiness.com, the show. On today's show, Tom Still discusses the revival of efforts to create an early-stage capital plan for Wisconsin, and Scott Mosley of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation on why other nations are investing in Wisconsin, a trend known as foreign direct investment. But first, here's the WisBusiness.com stock report for late August 2012. Rising. AT&T investments in Wisconsin. The telecom giant says it has invested $1 billion in Wisconsin since 2008 and $100 million in the last 6 months. AT&T President Scott van der Sanden credits passage of 2 Wisconsin laws for the company's spending spree. The first was a 2007 law that allows companies such as AT&T to enter the video market faster. The second was 2011 legislation that made it easier to invest in wireless towers and other equipment by removing outmoded landline regulations. And falling, the jobless rate in Wisconsin. Local unemployment rates dipped in most major Wisconsin cities and counties in July. New data from the State Department of Workforce Development shows unemployment dropped in 26 of the state's 32 largest cities. The lowest rate was 4% in Caledonia, down from 4.2%. The highest was 12.7% in Racine, unchanged from June. Tom Still is next with his Inside Wisconsin commentary.
When someone you count on anticipates your needs, your job becomes a whole lot easier. Grant Thornton clients get advice and recommendations from partners in the U.S. and through member firms worldwide. Grant Thornton.
Governor Scott Walker has asked 2 respected advisors to help write a plan to attract more private early-stage capital by leveraging state dollars. It's a process that will reach across party lines and likely extend into the state's next budget debate. Pulling together a plan that helps cash-starved entrepreneurs while passing muster with state legislators won't be easy. But there's a foundation in place, fortunately, because Walker and the legislature have been down this road before. Early-stage investment plans cropped up at various times during the legislative session that ended last spring, although concerns about costs, structure, and oversight slowed progress. Even so, early-stage capital was among one of the last ideas standing with bipartisan support when the legislature ran out of time before the recall election season. As the new process begins, here are some principles to bear in mind. It's about the companies and jobs, stupid. Small businesses account for all net new jobs in the United States. The state has invested heavily over time in economic policies that help larger businesses, but less so in a size category that economists agree is the major driver of innovation and job creation. An early-stage investment plan that focuses on young companies is a winning bet. It's not a cost, but an investment. The goal should be a plan that treats the state as a limited partner in a larger market-based fund, not a giveaway scheme. In roughly 30 other states that have adopted early-stage investment plans, the common thread is recouping the state's front-end investment while generating jobs, economic activity, and new tax revenues. Keep it simple. There are several options available for financing such a plan, ranging from bonding to repurposing tax credits to hybrid models. The trick will be to pay for an early-stage plan in ways that have transparent costs on the front end and which are sustainable over time. Accountability matters. In a few states, the firewalls between politics and investment decisions haven't been as flame retardant as they should be. Wisconsin should avoid getting roasted by making sure the program is professionally managed, especially if a larger fund of funds is created to invest in selected venture capital funds. Using other people's money is good. Wisconsin has done a strong job over time in investing its own money in early-stage companies, but that's been done primarily through angel funds, networks, and super angels versus venture capital. In fact, Wisconsin trails all of its peer states in attracting venture capital. Wisconsin needs to strike the right balance between luring money from outside its borders and building homegrown capital. Some necessary ingredients are in place. The state Senate has created a special committee to tackle the idea. Lawmakers in both parties have built expertise. Investors are aspiring to put aside self-interest, and more startups are in the pipeline. In a political environment that remains fractured, this is an issue that should unite more than it divides.
Thanks, Tom. I'll be right back with Scott Mosley, Manager of Foreign Direct Investments with the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation.
White Hirschbeck Dudek represents companies at all stages of development and in a wide range of industries to navigate the legal challenges of regional, national, and global growth. At WHD, every stage takes center stage.
I'm back with Scott Mosley, who leads the State Economic Development Corporation's efforts to attract foreign investment. Thanks for joining us, Scott.
Thanks for having me, Molly.
Most people know about the importance of exports to the Wisconsin economy. But what is foreign direct investment and why is it so important?
Molly, foreign direct investment is recruiting both companies from overseas and capital from overseas to open in Wisconsin. It's important because when foreign companies bring their operations here, we create new jobs in the state, and when foreign investment entities invest in the state, we again create new businesses and allow the businesses in the state to expand and create new jobs.
Foreign direct investment in Wisconsin has ebbed and flowed since the 1800s. Are there estimates on the amount of investments in Wisconsin in a typical year?
There are. Over the past decade or so, we've averaged about 14 projects per year. Since 2003, we've had 77 projects, and that's created about 10,000 jobs in the state.
Who are the largest foreign investors in Wisconsin, and what are some recent examples of how your team is working to attract them?
Well, historically, we've seen a lot of European investment. Typically, that comes from Germany, the United Kingdom, France, and then the outlier there is Denmark, which each of those countries have had 7 to 8 projects over the past decade. Some of the new things that we're working on is to try and tap capital from China. There have been some recent changes in the Chinese economy and their laws that allow them to move capital overseas. And we've got a couple of exciting projects underway right now to bring some of that Chinese capital into the state.
Thanks, Scott. And thank you for watching this edition of WisBusiness.com, The Show. The show is produced by WisBusiness.com and the Wisconsin Technology Council, and sponsored by Grant Thornton, White Hirschbeck Dudek, MG&E, and UW-Milwaukee. Visit our websites to read and learn more. I'm Molly Lahr of the Wisconsin Technology Council. We'll see you next time.